Welcome back. Love Boat Project, episode 33.
Wow.
I am Mike Robertson, along with Mike Taylor. Mike, I usually have some question to ask you to start these things, related to the episode.
Sure.
My question this week is, what the hell was that? What was this episode?
Yeah, this is a weird... I mean, we always go, oh, this episode, shaking fist, but this was... And you had some pretty top-notch writers, so I don't... It was like a nothing episode. It was very weird.
It was funny. It's not exactly a one-to-one, but it's right around the same time the infamous Ray Bolger episode that you disliked so much, which was a wacky episode. Now, that was a much hornier episode. But that was episode 7 of the season. This is episode 8. I wonder if this is just like last week with the 90 minutes and the big Steubing thing, if they were just like, here's a bunch of junk.
I guarantee there's no way this episode aired during Sweeps Week.
But it did.
This
is November.
I thought it might be after, or just, because this is just not.
Yeah.
Whoever thought this was a solid episode to have on. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad episode. It was just a nothing episode. Like
I think
every storyline was the third storyline.
Disagree.
Really?
About this being a bad episode. So.
It's just
it was yes, you're right. Every storyline was a third storyline. Yeah. And that always is a bad recipe. I also don't understand how an episode where you have a woman talking to her dead husband is not the least logical storyline. But yet, I digress.
Or at least believable storyline. Let's say that.
Anyway.
We
are here tonight to talk about episode 8 of season 2 of The Love Boat. The titles for this one, at least they put some effort into the titles. I'll give them that. Till Death Do Us Part, maybe? ? Locked Away and Chubs. It should have been like C.H.U.
Yeah, like that carnivorous humanoid underground dweller. It's a great horror movie.
Rodents of an additional size.
Yeah.
We'll get into the synopsis. Original air date, November 11th, which is
Veterans Day,
and that is Sweeps Month. I assume it works like that still. 1978. The synopses, as pulled from IMDb, widow Ellen Garner is followed by her husband Mickey's ghost. Ghosts again.
Oh boy.
Who tries to fix her up. That's nice. Divorced couple Les and Gail see their daughter and her husband off, but get locked in an unused cabin. Which we're going to spend an hour and a half on that. So.
I've got some thoughts on that. Yeah.
And then what I think is probably the A storyline, but not A execution.
What, alphabetically? Chubbs comes first.
Jennifer makes a beeline for Doc. So initial thoughts, Mike.
Number one going in, thoughts going in as I started to sort of look at the information behind the episode, which I like to do just to go, okay, here's the storylines, here's the synopsis. Who are the players?
Right.
If you look at just these people in a list form, right? Without the characters they play, this is a stacked episode.
It really is a good cast.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, Greg Morris, come on. Mission Impossible?
And it's funny, those two people are the only two people from this episode who we will not see again.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Conrad Bain, huge star back then.
Conrad Bain, I was shocked, just 8 days after the debut episode of Different Strokes. So Todd Bridges was on pre the first episode.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
I wonder if we'll get
so you
Arnold
might have a
Drummond.
shot at Gary Coleman now, which I did not think was possible.
Do we have a better shot at Gary Coleman or what was her name? The daughter.
We have plenty of shot at Dana Plato. What I'm saying is Gary Coleman will get too big at some point. If you're going to get him,
Yeah,
it's
he did those
probably this
movies,
season.
and
Yeah.
it's got to be this year, next year.
What you talking about, Stubing? But he can't say that, so it's like
no. What?
Petty
What?
Français.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's just heavy hitters. I mean, and Danny Terrio.
Yeah,
is
like
also
an
in this.
uncredited role.
Yeah, that was he didn't do much in the episode, but yeah, that's interesting to me. It's just loaded. It's just loaded.
Yeah, and what they did with that load is very different.
Questionable at best. Yeah.
You bring up Jamie Lee Curtis, and we've talked about this before. You know, biggest star and everything. And the funny part is when they filmed this, she probably is just known as Janet Leigh's daughter. She's doing an episode with her real life mother. That's probably the hook, right?
Well, was this before or after Psycho?
Halloween was in the theater.
Sorry, Halloween. Yeah.
Halloween was in the theater 2 weekends before this aired.
Oh, so they didn't even know that.
They didn't even know what they had. And it's obvious they didn't know what they had because
they didn't do anything with it.
They didn't do anything. Like to the point where I almost wonder if those boring ass scenes between her and Wayne were thrown in to try, like after it was already
lost
shot.
Footage just to
right. Because think about it, nothing happened in those scenes.
Well, there was no interaction with anybody else other than Conrad Bain and Janet Leigh,
which is wild, right?
Which is wild.
Like,
again, the Janet Leigh thing. When I said Psycho, I meant Janet Leigh was in Psycho. Yes. I got them sort of confused. Yeah, it was weird. And the other thing in here, there's no captain's table. There's no like united area where you're going to bump into people in different storylines. They kept these stories so far apart. Right. You don't see, Greg Morris, or Greg Elkin's character. He doesn't run into Conrad Bain.
Right.
Like Wayne doesn't run into Ellen Gar. Nobody interacts with anybody.
The crew thing is 100% right because I was very focused on it. So Julie's the only person who's in the ghost storyline.
Yeah.
And Isaac literally talks to Wayne right at the end for 2 seconds as Drummond and Gale are coming out. That's it.
All he did was he made that drink. First drink he's ever made on the show, by the way. And then
I was going to ask you if that counted because he just kind of hit a blender. I didn't know if that counted.
I didn't see him mix it. Technically, he didn't. He hit a button. But in the beginning, he wasn't in his normal.
Right. It was, and I'll say this.
Yeah.
It didn't look as nice as the last couple episodes are. So if you told me this was shot out of order,
this could be season 1 to me.
In that first group, you know what it really felt like? And we almost need to do a Julie's hair length comp.
I felt like
Julie's parents episode, right down to the music in the Acapulco Lounge is that same sax clarinet mashup. So
I was waiting when they kept showing the band for her to go up and play it again, Sam. Like use that same footage as before.
The other thing is, and this is also what made me think it's early in the season because like we ran into this during the hurricane, very small sets. We're very tight in on Julie's cabin, which we have seen is huge. Yeah. We've seen entire acts in there. She's got this much room to hang up some clothes.
Do you hang up clothes inside?
We can't hang them up on a boat. You're the one who's always talking about wind. They would go right overboard.
That's true, but I just never, right in front of the door just didn't seem like, I don't know where to hang these, but they have to be in front of the door.
The bigger problem is, hey, Meryl, let's maybe get up from the birthday cake and get your friggin' dryer fixed. That's ridiculous.
I'll give him another 5 minutes. He waited 45 minutes. You know why? Because he wanted that cake. Come on, that's what he wanted. He should be called Captain Cake. He chased it with a donut in his, this 3:00 donut. He gets so excited.
3 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, he's sitting there eating the cake and giving it the 2-finger salute. Come on,
Oh,
Stubing, get a hold of yourself.
We'll get into the cast, like you said, though. It is stacked. Stacked, and then some interesting choices about who didn't make the portals again. Yeah. But and I have to offer a correction.
Really?
As well. We'll get to that. We have 2 corrections on the show tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, that's exciting.
What else is on before we get into it?
Please be a new episode of
Let's head back
that terrible women show, that terrible girl show.
Head back to Colorado for part 5 of Centennial. This week's episode is named The Massacre.
Oh.
Settle in.
Oof.
As wars rage across America in the mid 1800s, a militiaman from Minnesota, Frank Skimmenholm,
just played by Jesse the Mind, what a great role for him.
Takes his personal vendetta to Colorado in an effort to kill all Indians, including the Squeenal brothers. All Indians.
It's just all. Boy, he's
I'll tell you what, he's
ambitious. I'll tell you what, nothing more American than ambition.
Not gonna lie, probably would have watched that instead.
I would have watched that. Wait, who played him again?
Oh God. So in that episode was Robert Conrad, Alex Karras.
Oh, that's the massacre guy
Timothy
right there.
Dalton. So it could be any of these. It could be any of these fine filled.
George is out there killing every Native American. It's great.
Yeah. Tune into Centennial Project for more details on episode 5.
That's awful.
This was a white whale to find, and I couldn't find any information on CBS. Not American Girls. Hollywood's Diamond Jubilee.
What?
Which is a celebration of the 75th birthday of Hollywood, hosted by Raquel Welch and Douglas Fairbanks.
Hollywood was only 75 years old at this point? Hollywood what? Like, that doesn't make sense, does it?
Listen, they wiped this thing from the internet. I can't find anything about it.
What are they celebrating?
I don't know. But the frustrating thing is, not only can you not find anything, because all it said in the note I saw was that includes appearances by Woody Allen, Marlon Brando, James Cagney, who is alive in 1978, which is crazy. But you can't find anything. You can't find IMDb's got nothing on it. There's no Wikipedia page. There's nothing on YouTube. And here's the more frustrating thing: there was a movie in 1978 called Jubilee, and so when you Google it, that's what comes up. So lost to the age.
What's with the cloak and dagger? I wonder why that's so hard to.
Maybe something happened.
Maybe.
Maybe somebody like you threw a light on the fact that Hollywood's not 75 years old.
Yeah, Hollywood's not 75. That's what it is. Pull the plug. We're really 83 years old. Pull it.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
But the most important thing I want to talk about tonight, and I felt like this was a good episode to do it because, let's be honest, we've got some time on the back end of this episode.
Yes, we do.
I have in my hand.
Oh, okay.
The official, final 1978-79 Nielsen ratings.
Ooh, that's exciting. Okay.
This is brought to us by our good friends at TVRatingsGuide.com.
Thank you.
Sorry, the TV Ratings Guide.
The TVRatingGuys.com. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. So we can go a lot of places here, but how do you want to do this? You want to guess what place Love Boat's in? Do you want to? I feel like the numbers are not going. The share numbers are not going to mean much. I will just say they're all big. But I have the rankings of where they finished.
Well, let me ask.
1 to about 115 shows are listed here. So
are they in the top 10? I'll add that.
They're not in the top 10.
Are they in the top 15?
They're not in the top 15.
Top 20?
Yes.
Okay. I bet you they're like 17, 18.
They are 17. Yes. Thanks to that brilliant way to cut it down. You got it. So they're 17th, but They are the top rated show on Saturday night, not just in their time slot. They are the top rated show on Saturday night.
Entire evening.
Yeah.
How far behind is Fantasy Island?
We're gonna get to all this.
Okay, because I'm wondering what kind of bump that gives.
I have all our friends from this season so far. I have their rankings, and some of them are exactly where you think they are. Okay. The interesting thing is ABC dominates apparently at this point. The top 6 shows are ABC, all ABC comedies. How many of the 6 top rated shows of 1978-79, all comedies on ABC, can you name?
ABC.
3 strike rule.
Well, Three's Company.
That's number 2.
Happy Days.
That's number 4. You should get 2 more. You will never get 1, and you maybe can pull your last one out as a guess.
Different Strokes wasn't ABC, and it was too young. Jefferson's was not ABC.
Jefferson's was very low in the ratings. You'd be surprised.
I'm surprised. I am very surprised. Yeah. I'm trying to think. The most difficult part here is the network affiliation for these shows. Yeah. So the first 2 those 2 were easy.
Yeah.
Get crazy and say the Ropers, maybe 1, but
number 6, correct? Yes.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Ropers,
which had to be like a time slot thing. It just had to be a time slot thing. Yeah.
Because that show was a huge flop in the end. Like it didn't last very long, but had the greatest.
No offense to our friends at the TVRatingsguide.com, but they don't like mention how many episodes a season was. I think they just put everything. So,
my favorite TV theme song is for the Ropers, by the way, if you have a chance to check it out. It's great. Okay. So
mine is 8 is Enough, sung by Captain Dave.
I feel like we know him. This guy's a jerk, but we know him. He's basically counting in the song. He just goes all the way to 8, and he's like, all right, enough. I'm good. So I'm missing a show. I'm missing a comedy.
You're missing 3 comedies. But really? Yeah. You're missing the number 1 show. You're missing the number 3 show, and I'll give you the 5. You'll never get the 5.
Give me the 5.
Angie. Very short-lived and starred, among others, former Love Boat guest Robert Hayes.
It's a comedy? I've never heard of that show.
I remember correctly I've run across this in I think it's set in Philadelphia, which is probably how I ran across it. I think it's like Angie is like a single gal on the,
Right.
Like Mary Tyler Moore for the younger generation or something like that.
Soap's got to be on the list. We have a million different people from Soap.
Soap is ABC. I think it was just in the top 20, but not one of these. These are pretty big shows. That's CBS.
Barney Miller?
CBS.
Oh.
You're way past your strikes. So
yeah, I'm good. Yeah, what?
The 2 episodes or the 2 shows coming in at number 3, Mork and Mindy. Mindy.
I don't even know why I didn't think about that.
The number 1 show. We have not had their stars on yet, but we have had the parents of one of the leads. That's right. From the program that gave you Barry Keys, it's Laverne and Shirley, the number 1 rated program in 1979.
Why didn't I said Happy Days. Why didn't I think of because essentially those are 2 spin-offs from Happy Days.
Same universe. Yeah, it's the Milwaukeeverse.
Interesting.
Finally, in this very important segment, I have the list of all the shows we've talked about this year and where they rank.
Okay.
Coming in at 22, so just a few spots behind the Love Boat, is Fantasy Island. So they basically kept the Love Boat.
They're getting that Love Boat bump, basically.
Yep. So, coming in at 28, we just talked about it. Our friends in Colorado, Centennial.
Yeah.
Because it had so many episodes.
Yeah.
It had 12 episodes.
People love that stuff, too.
Yeah. Just behind them at 29 is Chips. Tied, actually, with What's Happening.
Wow.
And we'll get back to What's Happening in a minute here.
Interesting.
Here are some interesting ones. The CBS Saturday night movie.
Yeah.
Which is that the one that's usually a real movie?
It's usually the NBC one that's usually the real movie. CBS
So
is like the
CBS
TV
is
one.
63rd. The
Oof.
NBC Saturday Night Movie is 71st.
Way up. Wow.
So close, but
close, but yeah.
But so basically, you see, Love Boat is crushing these other
Well, they're
shows.
not really putting anything against them.
Well,
that's like charting anywhere near.
I think the lesson here, and I think it was the lesson in television for a long time. Nobody's watching TV on Saturday night.
Nobody's watching TV, or people are only watching the Love Boat.
They got a 22 share. Laverne and Shirley got a 30 as the number one.
Right. So it's 30 million. But I'm wondering back then, what's the dead spot for TV now? Is it Friday or is it Saturday?
I mean, it used to always be Friday.
That's what I thought. Why didn't they should have put this on Sunday night.
Nobody watches TV live anymore, so it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter anymore. Compare. The only live would be sports, so this would be interesting.
The most important number, though, and our final number here as we wrap up this great segment brought
this is a great segment
by our friends at the TVRatingsGuide.com.
Appreciate it, guide.
The American Girls. Now,
wait. Hold on. Wait.
There are about 115 ranked.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay.
It's got to be like 105. It's got to be like 105.
107 for the American Girls, who now the Hollywood Jubilee got them this week. Who knows? I never look ahead, so it's as exciting as when you open the mailbag. I don't know if the American Girls are going to show up, but
all we can hope is next week we get to talk about a new American Girls episode.
Last we heard, the plane went down, and we don't know what happened.
So. Well, no, last we heard, the plane went down, and then the next week they showed the pilot again. So, like, who knows? Maybe it really did go down. Poor show.
We hit on some of the credits, the people that we haven't really talked about yet. Melissa Sue Anderson plays
Big
Jennifer Chubbs Smith. She is of Little House on the Prairie.
8 years.
We mentioned this when Melissa Gilbert was on. Neither of us really watched Little House, but you're aware of Mary Ingalls as a name of a character I recognized.
Mm-hmm.
The
she played a blind character, which I thought was interesting too. So her character on that show was blind.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So this was really then one of those, I can do something else.
Yeah, I can play a part where I can see.
Well, but I think she was also trying to play like a sex pod. I don't know that she can do something else. So
listen, if your nickname is Chubbs, that whole sex pod thing is not going to work out in the course of a 45-minute cruise. It was cringy. Chubbs is cringy.
Well, just to add it a little extra cringe, Melissa Sue Anderson is 16 years old when this is being recorded.
Oh, I didn't.
That is, I did not have to look that up. That was pretty prevalent in the just first reviews that you see about this episode. So, So she clearly was going for this. Feels like her agent was like, "Listen, baby, you can't be blind. You can't be blind on the prairie all your life.
This is it. We got the perfect guy to work with, Bernie Capel." That's awful, dude. It was already cringy when I thought she was 18, and I even thought then I was like, this storyline's a bit much with this whole and with Doc." Yeah. The fact that she's younger.
Mention she was in college until like the second act.
No, that was guilt. That was a guilt mention right there.
I just wanted to throw that in for full disclosure. It's acting. That definitely would not happen today.
But how would a 16-year-old even know when she says like, "I want someone experienced"? I'm like, oh no.
Well, she's not blind. I mean, she's acting.
She's acting.
And there is no kissing here. She tries to kiss Doc, but really that's,
Thank God.
It's not great. But it's not great regardless if she's 16 or 18. It's not,
Either way, it was bad at 18. It's really bad now. All right.
Mr. Drummond himself, Conrad Bain, we talked about.
Proud Canadian, sir.
Another Canadian.
He also has a twin brother.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he has a twin brother. Did a little acting. Had an odd first name.
Wayne.
It was like Knockrad. Like it was all the same letters as Conrad, but backward. It was like a weird first name.
Darnock.
Darnock Bane.
He'll be back a bunch. Melissa Sue Anderson will be back a bunch. Matter of fact, I want to say it's her. She's back in season 9. And the only thing I saw about the season 9 episode, and we're not looking forward to those post Julie seasons, but the brief synopsis that popped up that I didn't even read the whole thing. I wasn't even trying to read it. Mentioned Lorenzo Lamas and Cesar Romero.
Oh wow! I'm hoping it's like a Reno Reigns and a Joker type situation. Jeez, that's awesome.
We talked about Jamie Lee Curtis. This obviously is her last episode.
Yeah. She's never coming back.
And this is, you had mentioned this previously, this is how we're going to get big stars. Like big stars to us.
Well, it's going to be like giant swings and misses. I'm sure at some point.
Yeah. Because I'm sure Tom Hanks ends up on this boat at some point, right? You're going to have big stars.
Yeah.
But this is literally like 2 weeks.
Well, like Billy Crystal, like same thing. You get these people early before they know.
Janet Leigh, her mom, as we said in real life. So Conrad Bain is essentially playing Tony Curtis here, I guess. Which do you think they tried to get Tony Curtis?
I don't. At this point in Tony Curtis's life, I believe he and Janet Leigh were not together.
Yeah.
Apparently, from my research, basically Janet Leigh says in some book that like he just didn't want to be a dad. Like he was Hollywood and
Tony
acting.
Curtis that surprises me.
I don't.
I thought Conrad Bain did a decent job with a pretty garbage storyline. I
agree.
I think they could have gone a little more. I don't know, but maybe it's just because we see him as Philip Drummond. So some people, it's hard to get out of the typecast. You really got to do a good job. Robert Reed.
Like brush your hair differently or something. Do something. You look
should
like
have had. Those missing mustaches you've been complaining about?
Boom.
You should have had a swarthy mustache.
I don't know if that's a. Yeah, maybe. Well, he's Canadian. He can grow facial hair. He should have.
Get a playoff beard, you hoser.
That's what I'm saying.
Greg Morris as Greg Elkins. He, like as you said, was in Mission Impossible. Again, I never saw that show.
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Not then, obviously, but I thought it was cool.
This week and next week, we're going to need that Mission Impossible knowledge because
yes, we are.
I am deficient.
I'd like to say something about Greg Morris real quick. So, as you're saying, he was on the original Mission Impossible. He played this electronics expert. Like, everybody had their specialties. Like, it was cool. So, before he died in 1996, he was invited to the premiere of the Mission Impossible movie, the Tom Cruise movie. Mr. Morris lasted about 15 minutes before he got up and walked out of the theater. A reporter asked him what he thought of the movie. I'm sorry. He disliked the movie so much that he left the theater early, calling the movie or talking to. He talked to a reporter and he called the movie an abomination.
Well, if you only watched 15 minutes,
I think, I don't know. Well, that's it's not the same. I think he was looking. He's like, "Where's Greg Morris? Who's playing Greg Morris in the movie?"
Well, we should have waited because if I remember correctly, the first Mission Impossible, the first 15 minutes, they kill the whole crew.
Yeah.
And
maybe
then
that's what it was.
I think Ving Rhames is essentially Greg Morris, right?
I believe so too. Yeah.
I actually kind of like the Mission Impossible movies.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm not offended in any way. I think they're a fun watch. They're exciting watch. All right.
Two quick Greg Morris notes. I was like, where do I know him from the most, right? Why is that voice ringing in my head? And I found it. He was Dwayne's father on What's Happening. The guy who ran for city council. Yeah, or mayor or something.
That's an incredibly specific pull.
I was like, I know that voice.
Wow.
I know that voice. So, and the other interesting fact is his son, Phil, would go on to star in the Love Boat reboot that we've talked about.
Where's the new Isaac?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know that he was in it now, and I know that Robert York was in it, and that's the last thing we need to know. There is not enough Patreon money. Yeah, you know what? There is. If you put enough Patreon money in our pockets, we will do that.
We'll do it. Guaranteed.
But Phil Morris, Greg Morris's son, also played Jackie Childs on Seinfeld.
No kidding.
So a lot of lineage there. Yeah, it's a pretty good bloodline here.
No kidding. What a strong cast this is.
Speaking of
waste. Yeah, I know where you're going. That's right. He's back.
Not since episode 1 have we seen Jimmy J.J. Walker. He is back. He does not have to drive a bugmobile. He gets to stay on the boat the whole time, except not really because he's a ghost.
He can still enjoy complimentary drinks, though, apparently. I guess there's loosey-goosey rules.
I went back to watch that. I was like, what am I missing? Shouldn't it go through his...
That's what I thought. I'm like, wait, don't ghost rules apply? Like if you're a ghost, they're getting a little...
Yeah, they tried to get out of the whole fading in and out with like he's only a freshman ghost, but obviously they didn't have the tech. Yeah. He is haunting, I guess, his widow, Renee Watson, who is back. One of our favorites from season 1. I think she maybe just missed a stubby nomination.
I agree. Yeah, she was good.
That category was stacked last year. She was great again. As Ellen Garner. We remember her, of course, as Isaac's love interest when she was just trying to write a dissertation by the pool, like most people do. And she hated Scatman Carruthers and all his noise.
All of them.
Episode 16 in our catalog, if you want to go back. Tough break for Peter Caulfield, who is Wayne. I'm going to call him Wayne the Drain. Wayne
the Drain. Just Wayne nothing. Like nothing Wayne.
Yeah, but he doesn't get a portal shot, and he's really the only person. He's in as much as Jamie Lee Curtis is, and he gets zip zilch.
Yeah, he was... Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Danny Terrio is Floyd. We'll get to him, and he has something to do with the correction, our first correction, but we'll get to that. And then... maybe my favorite part of the episode.
I know where you're going.
I will see you at the Stubbies, Mr. and Mrs. Corey's, because BB Drake and Raymond Allen are the runners this week. They show up 4 times. It is great. Every time, they probably have 20 lines. I don't think the one guy says more than 4 words. Outstanding.
Well, Raymond Allen, so he played a recurring character on Sanford and Son. He played Esther's husband, right?
Oh, wow.
And he was on Good Times as a character called Nico the Drunk. And it was a lot of what he did in this episode. It was a lot of those, like he would be a bystander and something crazy. So when I saw him, immediately I was like, oh, Nico the Drunk, because I'm such a Good Times fan.
Yeah.
These guys were just like those old ladies in the in the Kissing Band.
100%.
But it's glue. Is why, they're great.
This is why, now these guys are married, so they would count either way. But this is why that new category we're going to have this year is Best Duo, because you're right. It is exactly like the old ladies, and they should be honored as such. It was pitch perfect, and there's zero reason you cannot have this every other episode.
Every episode, just a new version of this. Every episode would be fantastic.
So we'll explain that in a little more detail when we get on the boat. But
secret MVPs.
Absolutely. Portal Report felt like they were more classic poses. I think we're getting more towards looking in the camera. Like it's a separate shoot or something like that.
I do. Yeah. They're all pretty consistent now.
Janet Leigh did a bit of a star turn into hers, but that's old Hollywood.
She's Janet Leigh.
She worked with Hitchcock, man. Come on.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't knock Janet Leigh.
And I would say Jimmy Walker, probably as comedy as we've seen in one of these so far. I mean, he just kind of was like, I'm a ghost, He's
such a character. Like, he's JJ Walker plays JJ Walker. Like, I bet you, I wonder if he's always sort of just like that, or if that's just that comfortable character, because it's not that different than like, okay, what if JJ had died and come back as a ghost? Would he be that much different than that guy?
It's like the George Clooney thing, right? It's either you're the best actor because you're always playing yourself, or you're the worst actor because you're always playing yourself.
Right.
But it's like it does feel like
nobody could play
more
JJ like Jimmy Walker could play JJ.
even more than the first episode.
Yeah.
I felt like he was more. I'm just Jimmy Walker.
Yeah,
as a ghost, barely
like
as a ghost.
It's excellent. Just anything with the same syllables.
Dino-tastic. Anything else before we jump on here?
No, I think we covered it. The only other thing is that Vernee Watson. I think we've already covered it before. She played Will Smith's mom, Viola Smith, on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
But I think we covered that before.
I think we did. We did. All right. Let's get on the boat. And speaking of Vernee Watson, Ellen Garner boards the ship and she checks in with Julie. And Julie, apparently this is her first day on the job. She's like, so where's your husband? Which is a question you should not ask unless you know the answer to it.
Yeah, that's like asking somebody who might be overweight if they're pregnant. It's the same thing. And it's a Love Boat. There's plenty of singles.
Yeah.
Like,
and
what do you... She doesn't have a ring on.
It says it on the thing, I think. Because Julie looks down. Anyway, long story short.
Unless
Ellen
they
Garner
booked it before he died. I don't know.
Ellen Garner, 2 years? Ellen Garner informs Julie that she is in fact a widow. And then we get what sounds like the first note of the Bewitched nose twinkle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good call. I had a similar note.
And here's JJ. Jimmy Walker. Mickey is his official name. We'll go back and forth as much as possible, but it's Jimmy Walker.
Yeah.
In every form or fashion.
The late Mickey Garner. He just doesn't look like a Mickey Garner. You know what I mean?
No,
it's
Mickey Garner sounds like a guy, like a bookie, broke your legs or something. Yeah.
Could be stupid Wayne's name. It just doesn't make any sense.
So they kind of bury the lead here. Sounds like Ellen Garner murdered her husband
with lighter fluid in coleslaw. I was like, wait, cause of death? He ate coleslaw laced with lighter fluid?
Oh, you think that's what it was?
And then I'm like, what? Didn't you smell it?
So
wouldn't it smell like lighter fluid?
Okay. So what they said was Jimmy Walker is like, I told her to pour the lighter fluid on the coal slowly, and she poured it on the coleslaw. So you're saying he got poisoned. I for whatever reason, immediately went to he lit the coleslaw fire.
Oh, he was but then he would just be a burnt crisp as a ghost.
He went, my last words were, and I thought that was the flash of, does coleslaw light up like a Christmas tree?
That as he ate a heaping spoonful, and
maybe it's both.
Well, but if you did that to the coleslaw, wouldn't are you really barbecuing just for two people? Like, how many other people perished at this deadly barbecue via lighter fluid laced coleslaw? I don't know what they didn't even need to tell us. Like, they could have been anything.
Well, and that's the thing too, because they say it's the first barbecue after they got married, which means maybe it was like a thanks everybody for coming to our wedding.
Yeah, and we're gonna have 20 people drop dead. And where are those ghosts? Shouldn't this whole hallway be full of ghosts of her family? Because she did it. How is she going on a trip? You killed 25 people with a lighter fluid and coleslaw, and now you're stressed and you want to meet a man, so you go on a cruise?
Coleslaw massacre.
P.S. Stay out of the kitchen, Ellen Garner.
Oh,
jeez.
God. Be careful, Greg.
No kidding.
No wonder she's lawyering up.
Oh
my God. Yeah, but they
run, Greg. Run.
That's funny. That's funny that we took two different looks at the murder. So
I rewound it and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah,
now I don't know. Listeners,
I don't either.
Vote on our poll.
Please.
How was Jimmy Walker killed in this episode?
Was it by flame or was it by slaw? To one or the other.
I think I agree with you though. When you would, because coleslaw,
it's mayo.
I know it's naturally a little damp, but
well, it is damp, but it's not damp with fuel.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you smell? And the thing is, if you got a little lighter fluid in your stomach, how much lighter fluid does it take to kill a person? Was the slaw floating in a gas tank? I don't know what
He had it marinating for weeks.
How much does it take to kill a man or a whole family? And no wonder that's where she got money for the cruise. He didn't want her to have a man. He's trying to haunt her. He should have been like, "You killed me." That's what he should have done. Would have been a very different episode.
the gimmick with the ghost that we did talk about last week, we were trying to figure out how they would do it. They obviously don't have technology to like fade him in. So basically, you hear the sound, he pops up, then you hear the sound, he pops out. Like they're clearly like doing the cut.
Like Genie almost.
Right, exactly. You're 100% right. It's Genie. I didn't need much, but whatever.
It's fine.
You could have given me something. He shouldn't have been having real food
but I don't think that's how ghosts would work. And I'm not trying to be difficult here, but I can't imagine a ghost is just like, I'm here. You know what I mean? And then pop, I'm gone. Like, wouldn't a ghost like they would just sort of appear and then they would sort of disintegrate? I get it, but they could have helped us. They could have done something. If you could have made Captain Kirk, right, when they would like beam down, they had that little something. They could have done something.
Well, what technology? Let's look at some of the stunts and special effects. Not stunts, because stunts have been good this year. Special effects. We saw that elevator explode. We saw that computer that Frankie Avalon had explode.
Explode. Yeah.
You know, I don't know that we have it.
Yeah, we're not in the we're not making Star Wars here.
When the Pacific Princess implodes in season 7 because they have to figure out how to get to other ports, you know, then we'll see.
They'll do that just so they can build a new ship for the next season and have some new.
Oh, that's totally.
Oh, she's a beaut. Like it'll be one of those kind of.
Yeah. Take me a minute to mourn my girl.
The Pacific. God, stupid. Go down with the ship, sir.
Basically, Jimmy Walker is haunting Ellen, not in a bad way, but he wants her to move on with her life after this unsolved murder.
Yeah, after she killed him.
Yeah, and find a new man. And what better place to find a man than the Love Boat? So Jimmy's going to help out, which is great. The problem is only she can see and hear him, and it makes her look crazy.
She looks like a lunatic. Julie's looking at her. If Julie's looking at you like you're crazy, you are legit cuckoo.
So the first version of the Coreys comes from this as they're kind of standing out there, and Ellen says to Jimmy that that she's kind of talking and like obviously like saying things that are incriminating to JJ, and what was his name? Nico the Drunk.
Nico the Drunk. Yeah.
Mr. Corey comes by and says, "I swear I never saw her before," and she gets a Mrs. Corey.
It was good.
Classic.
We knew he had something special right there with the Coreys. I was like, they're going to hit this again.
As a oneer, that would have been fine. The fact that they went back to it every time.
It was great. Gold.
New dad, Meryl Steubing, is questioning Julie on why Doc and Isaac are boarding passengers. Good question. I also would wonder where Isaac's jacket is, but I guess that's
he didn't
jacket.
Like he looked like he was out of uniform, basically.
Yeah, he really did.
I also looked at his shoulders to see if he had additional stripes because remember they said when he saved the ship, he was supposed to get a promotion.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
Like a backup quarterback. The reason they're helping out is because Gopher's sister Chubbs is coming to celebrate her unlisted birthday. Eventually, we find out it's her 18th birthday.
Well, also he was blow drying his hair. And they said in there, Gopher's blow drying his hair because his sister's coming on board. I expected to see this well sculpted coif on his head, and it was regular old Gopher hair. So I don't know what that is about.
So she is named Chubbs because she was a bit of a heavy girl growing up, and as you know, children don't ever change, and so that's kind of where the nickname comes from. Well, it turns out that old Chubbs is not what she used to be.
No, she's no longer 5 feet tall all over.
Yeah. Let's talk about Steubing, who again just discovered that he has a daughter
Right.
And in the course of 30 seconds, manages to make a fat joke about a child,
Mm-hmm.
and then then makes another basic fat joke asking them to make a second birthday cake. You have a daughter, you asshole.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dick here. Like,
Jesus.
dude. Well, it just shows you it's completely. Well, we like to think that there's some sort of carryover or larger story at play, but this is just more proof to me that this is a complete out of sequence episode they just threw in here.
And
It
it's that
doesn't make
thing
sense.
where, like, we kind of talked about it, and I will be curious. We kind of talked about it in that the fact that Vicky Stubing doesn't come back to the middle of next season.
So weird. Was
this actually a plan, or was it a one-off throwaway thing? So my question is, will the daughter be referenced at all in an episode until we get to the actual daughter again?
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Unless I'd say maybe season 3, maybe Telegram or something, but I don't think they're, I don't think that they're going that far in depth with it.
Yeah.
And I bet you they wanted to see what the ratings were for the episode with the Vicky thing. And then I'm sure that the issues with Julie caused this and this. So there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes too, I bet. With that Vicky thing, we need a sober female on the show, essentially.
Too soon to start thinking about Julie's departure.
Makes me sad already.
The Jennifer shows up, and it seems like she's met everyone previously except Julie, which made me wonder, is that Julie has a friendship with those guys off the boat, or is Julie the newest member of the crew and therefore has not opportunity to meet Chubbs yet?
Yeah, I would go with that she might be the latest person hired. Although I was surprised. I mean, how many years are you going to work on a cruise ship? Like, how far back, I wonder. If she met him 2 years ago, okay, I see that.
Yeah.
But if it was like, well, I knew Chubbs when she was 8. Like, really?
Mm-hmm. They have a very familiar relationship.
They do. It's a little weird.
Meanwhile, so basically, yeah, Doc shows no remembrance of this girl until Gopher comes down and yells Chubbs. But before he knew that, Doc was definitely like ready to go.
Oh, but there's no shame. Yeah.
But give him credit. He knew to get out of there, so he stood down.
Thank God.
Meanwhile, on Fiesta Deck 131, Jamie Lee Curtis is saying what we've been talking about for 33 episodes. If this marriage doesn't survive on land, why is it going to be any better on this boat?
Amen. Amen.
This is a level of Lockhorns that we have not had in a while. Mm-hmm. These guys, the parents hate each other.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Wayne hate each other. They're boring as hell. It's just
Wayne's terrible. Wayne is just terrible. Just Wayne the bore.
Wayne's a tryhard, is what he is.
They didn't give him anything to work with. This guy might be one of the greatest actors in the world. I don't know, but what he did here does not prove that to me.
So we don't get a lot of this at the very beginning, but we are able to piece it together from intricate plotting. So Wayne and Linda, which is Jamie Lee Curtis, they are married. And before they can even get like 2 words out of their first argument, the door knocks, and it's Janet Leigh, mother of Linda, also mother of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
She is off.
Big star.
Yeah, and she is off to see her daughter and son-in-law off a bon voyage.
Why don't you just throw ticker tape like those other thousands of other people who gets on a
who can get on a boat?
Well, say you could. Is that what? How is? I mean, and I'm not trying to pick it apart, but it's just like we've never seen this on any other episode.
Nope.
Because if you let
one, she was a legit stowaway,
right? If you let them all do it, that's ridiculous. You're gonna have so many stowaways. No one's gonna leave the ship. Ugh.
Well, as Janet Leigh tries to kind of explain her motivation, and we start to get into the divorce thing, the door knocks. and the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
That's what
And
I'm
here's
talking
Les.
about. Philip M.F. Drummond.
Yeah, here's Les, who is the father. He is the father. And he was actually invited to see them off. Apparently, the plan was it's very important that you get seen off as an adult on a cruise.
So weird.
But
yeah, on a romantic cruise with your spouse,
right,
like in your room, like not on deck. Yeah, that's up close and personal.
Yeah. So we get a little bit of exposition, but basically Les and Gail were married for 20 years and they're now divorced. And that's the whole reason that they were not both invited to this awesome send off of boat travel. But
so weird.
Anyway, so Jamie Lee Curtis tries to be diplomatic about it, but they're like, we're out of here. Conrad Bain's like, baby, I got a date. I got to go. You know, he's just like,
I don't have time for this. No.
I'm sure it's not a big deal, but Les and Gail seem to have lost their way when they are leaving the hotel room, but I'm sure that they'll get back to where they were supposed to, and we won't see them
It's going to
anymore.
be a problem. No, that's it for them.
Just won't see those guys anymore.
Goodbye.
It is funny though, because it's like you would think, good job, Stubing. You'd think you'd have like a sign, right?
Exit?
Yeah.
Pretty simple sign.
We do get a new call, I guess, from Stubing today.
Yeah.
All aboard. What is it?
All ashore that's going ashore.
All ashore that's going ashore. So these poor people who they did not intend to stow away.
No. He's got a hot date.
Yeah. At least
maybe.
nothing.
Yeah, he's got nothing.
Sure. He doesn't. So yeah, they are just kind of wandering around. They're just kind of trying to find their way. Okay, I'm sure that'll work out. I'm sure that'll work
out. Fun. Yeah. They'll be on shore any minute.
Next we see Greg Elkins trying to get into his cabin. Here comes Ellen walking down the hallway around the same time.
Growl.
Ghost time.
There we go.
Mickey sees an opportunity and he says, we already have a winner of my replacement. And hit the binger. And Ellen's like, I'm not interested at all. And Greg's like, I didn't even ask you yet. And that's the end of that flirtation.
Yeah, it's yeah. I can't imagine Greg after that. He's probably like, damn, that girl's crazy. She's in the hall openly talking to herself.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer. I don't need this.
No. And it's like, okay, I'm in the hallway. That's one. Right. Then I'm in the dance hall. That's two.
That's two.
Then I have this weird breakup.
Yeah, that's three. And then the very end is even worse. Yeah. Like, dude. Oh, yeah, she gets shoved.
Yeah, ghost shoved.
Remember how hard that was for Patrick Swayze in that Ghost movie when that guy, the droopy-eyed guy, was trying to teach him?
Yeah.
So he must be a great ghost if,
pretty good for a freshman.
Mickey Garner. Yeah, he's doing a great job.
I would watch Ghost 2 with Mickey Garner.
Oh, yeah, with this. When JJ inhabits Whoopi Goldberg's body, and then Demi Moore is making out with Whoopi, but she's really making up with Jimmy Walker. Ditto. JJ would never say I love you. Ditto.
Les and Gail shockingly have gotten lost, but in the middle of getting lost, Gail spots some renovation that she needs to check out. She's a big HGTV viewer.
Precocious.
Yes, and she heard that there is time. There's time enough before they jump on this boat to check out the renovations of the new cabins. I've heard they've done wonderful things.
It's not like they made an announcement like get off the ship now.
Right. Well, and the sign says, kind of stay away from here, but not really.
Warning.
Yeah.
Warning, right.
Two people in their mid to late 50s easily duck under this chain to get back there.
It was very secure. Then no one's going to duck under that chain. You're crazy.
And then they walk into these upgraded cabins, which I got to tell you, they kind of look like the other cabins.
They look exactly like the other cabin, but just Slightly messier, sure.
But you can tell they've been working on them because there's a ladder with some like paint easel in
a little bit of paint splatter that was placed there 5 minutes before they said shoot. Yeah.
The door kind of shuts behind them and it locks comically because
of course
that's the one thing you would definitely not work on first.
Yeah, we haven't finished the room, but we finished the locks from the outside.
Right. Literally every construction you go into, the doorknobs are like the last thing.
There's a hole. They don't put a door in, like, not for this construction company. We're Doorknobs First Incorporated.
Doorknobs first. Running water probably last. We'll get to that. This is a whole radar cabin. The phone is unhooked as well. And so they are probably going to die here. No one is ever going to hear their screams. So
poor Conrad.
And then we get the horn. Like we're at a Buffalo Sabres game in the mid 90s. And it is time to go. And guess
time
what?
To go.
They're stuck. They're on this boat. So we get a lot of yelling and door hammering. I'm stuck in here with someone I hate.
Well, no one could hear him over the absent confetti scene that was going on outside.
Yeah, but all that excitement leads to an extended stock footage. Like 4 or 5 pieces of stock footage. We are 9 minutes into this thing. That is a bad indication.
They are crawling on their stomachs to the 45-minute mark on this thing. Like they're like, oh no, we're screwed.
I kind of had an indication we were thin already, but like when you do that in the first act, especially coming out of that theoretically exciting scene.
Well, there wasn't even much to establish in this opening act. These people are locked in. This other couple doesn't like them. You know, they don't like each other. There's a ghost thing. There's Chubbs. Like it's pretty light. There's not much going on.
This episode could have been 15 minutes.
Yeah. We could have been done already, essentially.
They should have like banked a couple Jammin' Jimmy solos, maybe some Fifth Dimension, and ran that at the back end of this.
Just have a musical episode. Just show a bunch of musical performances. Give them 30 minutes of gold.
Or just like a clip show of musical performances.
That
didn't happen on the show.
There you go.
The second song. Whatever Neil sang didn't make the end of the Roxy Blue song.
The end of the Roxy Blue. And maybe a repeat performance of the song that dad sang to his daughter when he was dying. Maybe if we could get like an acoustic version of that would be wonderful.
Do you think they played it on like bagpipes at his funeral?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Jennifer heads down to the deck and she's trying to find Doc, and she gets hit on immediately because she's incredibly attractive and a sex pot and not a child.
And she has the eyes of a zombie. Sure.
She asks Isaac where Doc is, and he's like, maybe he's in his office. And she's like, what do I got to do? What's the girl got to do to get sick around here? And Isaac's like, aha, the perfect opportunity to unveil my new drink. Isaac's eye opener.
What was the drinking age in 1978?
Maybe 18. Plus, you're in international waters. I had the same thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna say okay, but you're right. The fact that
it's a little shady. Yeah.
Now I'll say this: it was interesting. She held the cup in a weird way, almost like she had no idea how to hold alcohol.
She's 16.
Well, but she held it like this the whole time.
She didn't know what to.
Well, one of the reasons I thought she held it like that was because she doesn't know what she's doing and she's 16. The other reason was, did you see the color of that drink?
Yeah, it didn't.
Looked like if you had knocked slush off the underwell of your car.
It was not
it was not a great job, Isaac.
It wasn't an electric color. Like, how about we just stick to Planter Punch and Pina Coladas? Like, keep it real simple.
Yeah. No ingredients given, which is very disappointing. I really wanted to make
what
an
color?
Isaac's eye opener
what
tonight.
Ingredients would you to make that? It just looked like antifreeze sludge.
Windex. Yeah, it's like
awful. Midori.
Ugh.
You know, all the. I wish. I wanted ingredients as well.
Steubing shows up, and so does Gopher. And Gopher kind of reintroduces Steubing to Jennifer. I just want to point out again that just last week, Merrill was introduced to his daughter, and we are pretty confident that he knows this. And he manages to ask this 18-year-old girl, whatever happened to the little girl with the big appetite. So, let's not bring up those past issues, probably.
Just say it. Hey, it used to be super fat. Like what the hell happened? That's almost better than going, you used to have a big appetite. Like don't try to poorly hide what you're trying to say. Oh, did you have some sort of medical procedure to lose 300 pounds? Like, just say it. Oh, you used to have a big appetite. Like, oh, that's
right.
Can you imagine saying that to somebody?
No.
I can't imagine ever saying anything else, but I can imagine just going, I know how to clean this up. Hey, I heard you used to have a big appetite.
And then she leaves to go have lunch or do something.
Or to go cry. Yeah.
Right. Seriously, to go eat a ding dong.
Eat and make herself throw up. Sure.
Steubing then, because Gopher's like, ugh, these creeps on the boat.
Oh, Denny Terrio. Yeah.
Steubing's like, she's a real stunner. Like, you don't say that about my sister, old man boss of mine.
I'm trying to pimp out my 18-year-old who's really 16-year-old. So, yeah, it's weird, man.
And then he's like, goodbye, Chubbs. Hello, Farrah. Like, what?
Once again,
arrest this man.
Captain, man. Act like an authority figure. Like, you're just so clueless.
It's not even the worst thing he does. There's a worse scene later.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot worse.
All right.
He doesn't disappoint. I'll tell you what.
I don't know why I thought that was like a big enough episode last week that they would try to at least not do this, but they basically John Rittered him again. So,
but to your point we talked about before, that's why another reason why I think this one's sort of just completely out of sequence.
Yeah,
because I feel like this comes from that batch of episodes where they didn't know who or what they wanted Steubing to be.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that this is a first season episode based on Julie's the length of her hair and how they portray the captain.
And the actual film quality seems to
exactly. Yeah, it wasn't. But the portals look good, so I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
Who knows? We are poolside. JJ knows what's up. He shows up on an empty deck chair next to Ellen to kind of get the skinny. He's been doing some research, it sounds like. Finds out that Greg has got some money and he's an attorney, which I don't know. Do ghosts? Do you think he has a ghost, some sort of ghost access, or do you think he's literally rifling through Greg's briefcase in the hotel?
I mean, he could just be hanging out in the guy's room.
That is true. He does talk about being a lawyer a lot.
I wonder if ghosts can swim. Like, could you get in the pool?
Mean, the fact that he was able to drink liquid makes me think he can swim. Yeah.
That's what I think. But the whole liquid thing was just...
that was padding.
It was like a 4-minute scene, too. Like, what are we doing, man?
I was like, hold on, I got to do a lot of bits here.
Oh, got to slowly drink the other drink now. Sure.
Ellen informs Mickey that he's wasting his time, which Steubing overhears. And Ellen's like, no, sorry. I was like, I'm having a great time. And he's like, okay. And he salutes her.
Yeah, 2-finger salutes.
Why?
That's why I couldn't wear the captain's hat this week. When in doubt, when he doesn't know what to do, he just hits him with the old Polish Army salute.
And what are you doing? Why are you just walking around?
He's got nothing to do. Oh my God. He's got nothing to do.
Again, stuff. Next week, I'm going to see him with one of those ballpark racks of popcorn or something.
Something.
Red hot.
Or he should give out change, have a change belt on with a ching ching ching. But again, not to beat a dead horse. I could sit here and just talk smack about Steubing all day long, but honestly, we're in season 2, not quite halfway season 2, but we're getting there.
We're a third of the way through.
Like, no bridge shots still.
A lot of bridge references.
A lot of bridge. I have to get to the bridge. The bridge is where he gets his ice cream from. The bridge is the name of the ice cream parlor. I don't know. But it's just, you still don't see it. He lives the life of a Walmart greeter on a boat. If Walmart was on a boat, it's just, they just cut this guy down. It's
It is just funny. To your point, the episodes are definitely not in order, because it was just like, that guy was not going just for a stubby last week, but going for the Emmy. And this week,
he's like,
just a stupid.
What's the opposite? I'm going for the anti-Emmy. I don't know what that is.
The Razzie?
The Yemmy? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah. Awful portrayal.
JJ's like, when are we going to talk about all this stuff? And Ellen's like, back in the cabin, because I look like a crazy person.
Maybe he was just looking for a confession, you know? Like, I just want you to tell me that you killed me with the just tell me. That's what I'm doing.
Anyway, guess who walks by but the Coreys again?
Oh, I love them.
This is where Mrs. Corey threatens to break Mr. Corey's leg.
She looked like she meant it too. Like, I would not mess with Mrs. Corey.
Acting. This was just,
she was great.
Tremendous.
The actress BB Drake was her name. She was amazing.
Just,
yeah. I don't know who she is.
Speaking of misunderstandings, Greg comes over, and I think he catches like the last part of something, and he's like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
And Isaac just hands him booze, and he's like, "Can't get any worse." just like
this guy, he just wants to be on vacation. Like, he doesn't want to deal with any of this.
We talk a lot about the advent of sunglasses, but Greg is looking sharp in what I assume are his sunglasses. It was hard to tell if they were those like dark tinted regular glasses or actual sunglasses.
He looks sharp. He looked
sharp. He sounds sharp. This guy sounds like $1 million.
Yeah, look at his hair. His hair looks good. He's just well put together.
I have an interesting casting switch that I'd like to run by you a little bit later.
Okay.
Oh, and I also have an interesting get rid of the entire storyline switch right here. Wayne is trying to make sexy moves from the pool. Jamie Lee Curtis is not having it.
She's like, "We're in the pool."
Yeah. She's like, just no. Get off the boat, you two.
Wayne.
This is terrible. Wayne's trying really hard.
There was the only thing they used him for was to get Conrad Bain and Janet Leigh
exposition.
Right. So it's not
like, have them matched up. Yeah, where they were different.
It's weird.
Yeah, Linda's over this already. And she mentions divorce. Wayne brings up her parents as an example of needing to fight more, I guess.
His logic was, he was grasping at something. I wasn't following his train of thought on his, whatever the argument he was trying to make. He was just upset because he wanted to, and she was like, "No."
Yeah, we've done these. We've done enough of these to kind of realize that if you get a "I don't care" note this early, it's a problem.
Yeah,
and I didn't care. I didn't care about this part at all.
No, if we can't even begin to be invested at this point, we're just not. No. It's just not going to happen. Screw you, Wayne.
Speaking of the parents, Les and Gail are sitting on the floor, and their low-level bickering kind of escalates to full-scale hatred. Now, I will say this was the best part of this storyline, is because Conrad Bain kind of offhandedly says, "Oh, and you hated me," and she's like, "Oh no, hate's a strong word." And they go back and forth, and they go all the way around back to hate. So here are all the things they said about each other. They said hate, mutual disappointment, dissatisfaction, discontent's
a good one.
Indignation, exasperation.
Oh, it's building
anger,
now. Yep,
rage, loathing, hate, and then they go back to the door.
There you go.
And there's your act break. Weird way to go to the commercial.
Did they jostle the door pre-commercial, or they didn't really give the payoff on the door prior to the commercial?
where it was locked or the
Yeah,
first?
yeah, where they couldn't. Well, was it
So that was
locked?
initially when she yanks. That's the first time they walk in.
Okay.
That logged right behind them. Although she indicates at the end, spoiler when they get out,
That she
that
already
she's been
opened
about
it.
for 3 days. And they, so
Since you said 3 days, I just want to bring up a quick point about this couple. You will get to the food that they're going to divvy up, right? I just want to make a point. A person can survive for a total of 3 days without water. That's it. I want to lay that groundwork down because how long is the cruise?
3 days.
They'd have
This
been
one was
corpses. They would have been corpses.
Yeah.
Unless there's some sort of like toilet water or some kind of water running.
Well, do you
They
think the
didn't show
water
them.
is running? I mean, I guess I don't know. You put the doorknobs in.
Well,
I
no,
don't
you go
know.
doorknob first, you go water second, I think. I don't know.
Line
But
left,
like there let's eat salty peanuts
right.
with no water
You
for
got some
three
dry
for,
fish back
yeah,
there too. It's
for
like,
72 hours because they got in that room right when it left.
you got any peanut butter I can munch on?
Any dry saltines, extra salty saltines, not a drip of water. Just saying.
Act 2, Gopher goes into Doc's cabin. He's like, Doc, I got a problem. The wolves on this ship are going after my sister. Can you help out? And once again, Doc is thrust into the chaperone role. So keep an eye on these cruise ship Casanovas.
Well, we know how that can go. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, what if he showed back up?
That would be
great.
Yeah, she'd be all right with him given a secret smooch.
Oh, that'd be great.
I bet you they wouldn't use her as bait like they did Julie. just a guess.
Doc agrees. All is well. We are at dinner, and JJ is up to some ghost tricks. He changes the number of Greg's table assignment on Julie's clipboard from an 11 to a 17, and that's how those two end up at dinner together.
There we go.
That was some practical magic right there. That's good job.
If you're doing it for love, it is magic.
Greg's like, I'm a good listener. I've had a lot of practice because I'm a lawyer, which is how we start to get into the lawyer references. There's a lot of
lawyer happened a lot. Like, what does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, again, I think maybe it's because she's going to need a lawyer when somebody realizes that she killed Mickey.
Yeah. He's like, as a ghost, can I testify? No, you can't testify. So I can change dinner reservations. I can drink a drink. I can push people, but I can't testify. Right. Okay.
You think this is actually just a revenge cruise?
He's just waiting for a fogged up mirror so he can explain to Greg what's going. Like, run, Greg. Greg, I'm trying to hire you. Forget about this woman. I want to hire you.
It's funny. Ellen starts taking shots at Mickey, how he never shuts up. He would have been a good lawyer because he talks so much. And it was like, okay, you're just nuts.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy.
Meanwhile, Wayne and Linda are having another miserable time.
Most boring couple in the world here.
Wayne brings up that they had Cornish game hen and it was delicious. Have you ever had such good Cornish game hen? Was this episode brought to you by Cornish game hen?
I don't know. I say that all the time. Have you tried the Cornish game hen? Jeez.
Turns out that's the most romantic meal in the world because that's what they also had the night that Wayne proposed.
Oh. Yeah.
And Wayne kind of goes on to a bit of a rant how they tried to double charge him for the drinks and the service was crap. And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, is that all you remember? Is that it? And that's it.
Maybe the ring was inside of the tiny chicken. Maybe that's why it was a big deal. I don't know.
Tiny ring then.
Tiny ring.
She is just listen, Wayne sucks.
Man. Wayne sucks.
And I guarantee you Wayne booked this cruise in secret. Like one of those things. Because he has worse ideas to save their marriage later. That we'll get to.
Well, anything's a better idea. You know, anything's better than, tiny poultry. It's just, Just doesn't make sense.
Isn't it the best? But that was the scene. That scene and the one in bed are the scenes that felt to me like, hey, Jamie Lee Curtis was just in this hit movie. We should get as much of her in as we can.
Absolutely.
What do we got? And it was like, oh, we got that crap that didn't make the real.
Well, yeah, we don't need a captain's table.
Yeah,
we need a pool and we need a room. That's it.
We had to take 6 more minutes of crane shots of boat liners.
Well, realistically, how long would it take them, those two, to film all their scenes? Less than a day, easily. There's nothing there. Not a lot of lines. It's pretty simple. The
costume changes would have taken the longest. Wayne had to get out of the pool.
Stupid Wayne.
Dancing Stubing. Meryl is doing the tango.
Yeah, cutting a rug.
With 16/18-year-old Jennifer.
Yeah, probably not the dance. Hey, why don't you do the lambada with her? You know, let's make it even more uncomfortable.
Where I come from, I'm calling this, he's flirting with this girl.
Yes.
Which is wrong because at best it's an 18-year-old. It's the sister of someone who works for you. You have struck out every time but once on this boat.
That's what it is. He's just like, he's looking for like a slump buster, but just in the worst way possible. I got to get out of this rut. Well, I'm not normally attracted to 18-year-old girls, but blah, blah, blah.
After the dance.
There's no integrity.
Like when, speaking of old Brian and his daughter, you remember in that episode when they thought they were a couple, Steuben's like, I could see myself with a girl that age. But she was like 35.
Yeah, completely different. But I could even go, 18 years younger.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's creepy, dude.
And then the worst part, he's like, after they finish up, he's impressed that a girl her age knows the tango. And then he's like, they used to call that the dance of love. No.
How would she know that? She's 18.
Yeah. Do you know what they call this? It's pepper spray.
Yeah. It's called inappropriate.
And so in a sentence that has not been said in at least 40 years, thank God Danny Terrio shows up.
Woo, dancing Danny. Thank you, sir.
And he cuts in. But first, I'd like to offer a correction. On a previous episode, you had referenced Adrian Zemed, and you thought he was the host.
I'm so glad you brought this up.
And I corrected you and said no.
Yeah.
But, I meant Danny Terrio.
Before the lawsuit?
I said Danny Trejo. That is a much different
show.
Machete. Now, I would watch Dance Fever with Danny Trejo, but
absolutely.
As I was like, that's Danny Terrio. Shit, I called him Danny Trejo.
That's funny. So, interesting thing here about that whole Dance Fever. So Danny Terrio was the original host, I think, for the first 3 years of the show. And Dance Fever was sort of like Dancing with the Stars without the stars. So the stars would be there to judge different people dancing. Right. Danny Terrio, and this was a Merv Griffin production.
Give it a Merv.
Well, Danny Terrio had a certain relationship with Merv Griffin, where Danny Terrio wanted to end that relationship but keep his job on Dance Fever.
How'd that go?
And Merv's like, He was like, what's this? I'm watching TJ Hooker. Get this kid. Who's this Adrian Zmed kid? Replaced him.
Who's lawsuit. This guy who is not dance at all?
Yeah, who's this guy doesn't dance? Who is hey, Bill Shatner, who played your partner in TJ Hooker? So they gave it.
No.
Right?
Ew,
so
no.
Apparently that lawsuit was settled out of court. And then he sued the Hasbro toy company because one of their action figures had a distinct likeness to him. And they settled that out of court.
Wait,
and not much was seen.
For what? Just generic action figure?
Some kind of play set. And one of the guys was like dancing, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So there was like some plausible. It wasn't like, oh man, that looks like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's Rick. It's Rick Skywalker. It's all. So yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, Adrian Zemed took over, but yeah, Denny Terrio was quite the dancer back in the day.
When he cuts in on Stubing, this is basically just a Dance Fever demo reel. He's doing
That's it.
very elaborate dances for what this is, and
he's spinning. He's doing all kinds of ridiculous stuff.
And I don't know that I knew it was Danny Terrio when he first cut in, but when he started doing that, and I was like, "Oh, they're highlighting this. This is something." And then,
he might as well be wearing a Dance Fever T-shirt in this thing.
This was basically like Florence Henderson singing at Christmas. This is this is what I do. But also, it's padding. There's like 3 different shots of him dancing with no dialogue. At one point, Jennifer tries to keep up, and she's just like,
he's just like no one outdances Denny Terrio. Yep. He danced more than he talked in this episode. So I think that tells you all you really need to know about Denny Terrio.
Gopher sees this because everybody would see this. This is crazy. Sure. This man is like doing duck walks and stuff.
It's like, crazy what he's doing. Yeah.
And he's like, Doc, get over there. You said you would help. So Doc cuts in. Sadly, it does not end in a Olympic breaking style dance off. That would have been great if they would have thrown down.
Challenge.
We'll see Danny Terrio on the way out, but that's pretty much it for old Floyd.
Dancing Floyd.
Also on the dance floor are Greg and Ellen. They're cutting a bit of a rug.
Yeah, Greg's a great dancer. He's got some moves.
Jimmy Walker shows up, and Ellen's kind of talking to him, which is weird because that's got to be really weird, right? Like,
well, how could she hear him on a dance floor with all that music going? Like, what? It's odd.
But yeah, so they're having a bit of a chat during this, and asks if he remembers that night in Chicago, and you know what that means.
Oh no!
Here come the Coreys again.
Here we go.
Mrs. Corey's like, Chicago. So great.
Perfect timing.
It's just like, and again, this was our guys.
Yeah.
Aaron Jolson.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever problems these stories had or whatever, it's like, that's like, you know what? Are we using this too much? No, we're not. We're using it the perfect amount. It was just outstanding.
It's great how these people are in like the sort of periphery. But every time one of these lines is delivered, it somehow hits them. It's just
across the boat.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and they were great. I love the little duos like the Painters, but I really enjoyed Mr. and Mrs. Corey. I thought they were great.
Absolutely. JJ is smart, and he's like, "Yo, stop talking to me. Like, talk to this guy.
Yeah, stop talking. Just listen.
You killed me.
You killed me with lighter fluid and coleslaw. Jeez."
Speaking of talking, Doc and Jennifer can't hear each other because of all the loud, funky music from episode 2 that they piped back into this.
The funkiest.
So they decide to go out on the deck where I'm sure nothing will happen.
No, nothing's going to happen out there. Nothing ever happens. Nobody tries to jump overboard. Nobody almost gets killed with a gun. Nobody can't count to 6.
6.
Nothing's happening out there.
Were they on the deck for that?
Oh, yeah. He was on I think he was by the pool, but yeah, outside.
So when they're trying to overhear each other, they can't hear. So they're trying to arrange to go to the deck. And Jennifer's like, let's go to the deck. And Doc's like, go out and neck. And Jennifer's like, oh, yeah, great idea.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Too many cuts now between all these things.
Too many cuts. There's too much going on. Yeah.
Back in the mine shaft, the renovated cabin, Gail remembers that she has the bag of peanuts that you brought up. Conrad Bain's like, yo, we may die here. We have to ration. Let me count out these peanuts. There's 27 peanuts. So they're going to eat 3 peanuts a day.
Per meal.
3 peanuts a meal.
3 per meal.
But so it's 9 peanuts a day between the two of them. So it's 4.5 peanuts for each of them.
Right.
Okay.
Well, no, 3 per meal. So 9 per day. Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not 27.
Yeah,
peanuts, right?
It's not. I'd eaten all of them right there on the spot. I'd have been like, what? No, mouthful of peanuts. What?
I would have stomped on him. Why does Jimmy Carter get a stray?
I
Is that
don't
just
know
'cause
what
he's a
that was.
peanut farmer?
I
Is that
guess.
what it is? Yeah.
Like, we got a great one.
Yeah, we wrote the whole episode around this Jimmy Carter bit.
This peanut farmer. My peanut farm line is finally going to pay off.
You've been pitching this since season 1. Get out of here, Jolson.
Well, what an older woman thing to have in your purse is a bag of peanuts.
It's almost like a friend of ours used to date somebody, and we were all out at a diner in the after hours. And the next morning, she sent an email to us, and she said, "I can tell how crazy a night it was by the amount of potato chip bags I have in my purse." Because the diner just gives you them.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny.
So maybe Gail had been out the night before.
Maybe. Jeez.
Somehow this peanut bit leads to the first trip down memory lane. We'll have a few. And they talk about their first apartment, which I guess I understand. We've all had those apartments that seem like they're renovated cabins. And their first wedding anniversary and the sex that happened that night.
How are they? You're in a stressful situation, right? You're undernourished. You have no water. To me, that's not like fertile ground to like relive the good old days. That's more like sitting there and going, shit, like how are we going to live? We have 9 peanuts a day. Like, what are we doing here? This is the dumbest thing in the world.
I guess it's okay. So
are you happy? Remember when? I'd be like, shut up. We're dying.
What do they build that door out of, right? That's like a hotel door. You're not breaking that door down, I assume.
Balsa. Yeah, something. Yeah. Balsa. Everything's made of like model airplane wood.
So they could have just punched through.
Right. Punch right through. Like they didn't even try. It'd be funny if it was just a pull door instead of a push door. Like,
it's that,
Janet Leigh's struggling for air because she has no energy. So very different episode.
So I think you can leave the first one where he's trying to get out the door. He doesn't want to embarrass himself. So
yeah. He just, nope. Pride is more important than living, apparently.
We make it out to the deck, and Doc asks Jennifer how college is going, and he's going to find out. Jennifer puts the full court press on Doc, and Bricker resists as long as he possibly can. And thank God Gopher shows up. But
thank God.
Yeah, she is like, what do you major in? The stars? It's just like... I don't know that this would have been better with a better actress, but I wouldn't have minded trying.
Yeah, plus she was 16, so I don't think she really understood
Melissa
what
Gilbert
she was supposed
13.
to. Oof, that makes it even worse. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
She was a child. That doesn't, yeah.
Well, they're trying to pull those, Little House on the Prairie people over to watch The Love Boat. You telling me that blind Ingalls girl is going to be on there? Shoot, I'll watch that. That's
Little House on the Prairie, interesting note, was the highest rated show on NBC.
Really?
It was like all the way down at like 14th or something. Like NBC was not good at this time.
That's interesting. The ABC was just the bee's knees back then.
Just a monster. Absolute monster. Oh, great. We're back in bed with Wayne and Linda.
Same set. Sure.
Very, very close camera shot here. We did not have a full bed, is my guess. So.
No, we can't show a lot of this room.
No. Wayne's making moves and he's striking out. Wayne, bro, read the room, dude. Why do you think this is going to work?
Take a nap, dude. Just go swimming again.
So this is where Wayne throws out his great idea. Maybe things would be different if we had a baby.
Because that's always, that's a healthy, yeah.
Right. Linda is rightfully indignant about this.
She's like,
not only because it's a terrible idea for a baby, but she's like, no, because here are all the things that I would have to do. Very bitter.
Yeah, very bitter. Wayne's clueless.
Linda just wants to finish her book, Executive Trash. That's the name of the book.
I'm glad you read the title of that book.
I
wish we could get a
screenshot it. Make sure I
synopsis
can
of
read it
that.
correctly.
I wonder if it's a real book.
Based on the wonderful font on the cover, I'm going to guess.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What is that? What is that? Is that Calibri? What is that? What is that? Goth? Is that New Times Roman? What is that?
What is that? Hostage? What is that?
Fonts.
She's like, no. I just want to read my book. If you don't mind, I'd like to finish reading this book. Well, that might not be the only thing that you're finishing. All right, Wayne, great zinger. Does that make you feel better, bud? She wants a divorce, dude.
Yeah, she wants a divorce so bad that she brought a fake book on the boat with blank pages. I want to read my book, Wayne. Dumbass
she made
Wayne.
this book at home.
Yeah, it's macrame. Stupid Wayne.
All right, well, back in the locked-in cabin with Linda's parents, and they are getting hot and bothered over another book. See how we're doing the...
Yeah. Oh, because it's
Yeah. This book.
Does that mean Wayne and Linda are also eating 3 peanuts per? Like, are they doing the same thing?
They're lousy with peanuts.
Are they super dehydrated as well?
They found the monkey's stash of.
Right.
They just.
Why is this closet full of rando snacks? Just what's going on?
The book. Gail in her purse has, probably some Halls, 27 peanuts, and a copy of Lord Derek's Wench. So
another obvious fake book.
Gail mentions that she, Comrade Bain used to love her smut novels. When's the last time that you curled up on the couch with your wife and she read you a smut novel?
2 days ago. 2 days ago. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, man. That is I
guess before internet there was just a lot of time for things like so.
Yeah, it said it's just an odd.
Philip Drummond is drunk on peanuts because he starts groping his ex-wife when she starts reading this book.
How much sodium does it take to get Philip Drummond all worked up?
Like,
under those circumstances, you wouldn't have the energy. You're having 3 peanuts per meal and no water. Where are you getting this energy from, Philip Drummond?
Did you really have a hot date, Philip Drummond? Or were you going to a hooker?
I feel like he was telling a big old fat Canadian lie. Is what I think he was doing.
Oh,
Whopper. Sorry.
He gets shut down.
Yeah.
And Gail's like, sorry, I couldn't be a sex pot when I was raising your children. And she goes on a very justified rant about how, he kind of just handed off the kids and expected her to be, a bear in the boardroom and a bull in the bedroom or whatever. So, but he doesn't. He's like, nope, sorry. And he's like, tell it to Lord Byron, Lord Derek. And that's how we go to commercial. That storyline got, I think, all the commercial acts until the last one, which is a weird choice. Act 3. Julie's in her very small cabin. Very small.
Yeah. Why not hang up laundry in the tiniest cabin in the world?
What happened, Julie? What did you do? What did you do to Stewie that your room got moved?
There's one dryer.
Are they all broken?
I mean, do they not wash or dry things on that ship? Like towels? There's no laundry service. You have one dryer. Well, the dryer's out.
Like a crew dryer? Julie refuses to put the quarter in.
I mean, how many dryers? Shouldn't you have a bunch of? I mean, how many dryers do you need for 400 people?
600.
Right? And when I'm going to run for president, I'll be like, and 2 dryers for every person.
You know what the answer is? You need at least 2. Yeah. So there should be a backup.
It's just weird. Okay.
Anyway, this is all just scenery so Doc can come in and tell her about the Jennifer plot and ask what she should do. Julie's kind of like, I'm sure she just sees you as a father figure. And he's like, I think she sees me as a lover. So
Yeah, but didn't Julie do the same thing to Doc? Remember that one episode where he was going to sleep in the bathtub and all that stuff, and she was like, "How come you never pick me?" Isn't it kind of the same?
yeah,
It's not
well,
the age thing, but it's a similar.
it's a similar off limits thing. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Well,
is why,
that would
like, why would
definitely
Doc go to Julie with that, knowing
because I
that
think
happened
outside of
before?
that one episode, I think that made sense. That one episode was weird. A
Or they
very good
just
episode, but they
filmed
really.
this one before that one, or something.
Mhm.
Something's who knows.
You think they filmed this in like 1967?
That's what it was pre-pilot.
Anyway,
Yeah,
once again, I actually like this in that I do like the crew scenes that aren't stupid, where they
I
like
agree.
talk to each other like normal people. I feel like it
Yeah,
just
they have a
fleshes
rapport.
things out a little bit, you know. So
I agree.
the next morning, Les and Gail wake up and they're having another heart to heart about marriage and parenting, and they're not talking about getting a locksmith, which seems like the thing that I would be focusing on the most. But
Yeah, like, how do we get out?
right, yeah. You know what? I'm pretty sure we got divorced for a reason.
I like that they go to bed at bedtime and then they wake up in morning time, like they normally would, as if they were on vacation.
You gotta stay on routine. Like, to me, nighttime would be the time I'd be banging on the door the loudest.
Right.
Because theoretically it'd be quiet.
Well,
Nobody's hearing you over that funky clarinet.
Yeah, let's all go to sleep and be really quiet now in the quietest hours on the ship. I'd be banging something in that room. Hey-oh.
Those pipes.
Banging on the pipes. There's got to be tools or something. Make some noise.
That's a good point. They're
Set a
absolutely
fire.
tools.
Do something.
That's a good point too.
Get a fire alarm. Something. Do something.
Lord Byron. Fuck.
Lord Byron.
Out there. Like, you put him on the plumber poet.
This is great.
Nice gesture by Les. Offers her the final peanut. They kind of split the last peanut, and that apparently has solved all their problems, because here comes the violin swelling, but nothing happened yet.
Nothing happened yet.
Gopher thanks Doc for all his chaperoning, but needs one more favor. Could you please take Jennifer to lunch? He can't do it. Doc's like, sure. Meanwhile, in the pool, Greg and Ellen are frolicking. Greg gets an extended pool shot. Good for Greg.
He does. Good for you, Greg.
Turns out that Ellen has taken that successful dissertation that she completed by the pool and become a kindergarten teacher. Congratulations.
Because that's a big thing in that kindergarten world, right? Dissertations?
Yeah.
She probably had to do it in crayon. Just to
Black history, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was. It was.
This is where we get a lot of Greg as a lawyer.
They're dumping it in. Like, they're really
like somebody Googled somebody in 1978 Googled attorney and pulled out some words.
Or Googled good jobs. Let's give him this. And then he just went on and on and on and on.
Enter JJ. He's kind of chilling over on the deck chairs, just seeing the smooth moves of Greg. He calls him a combination of F. Lee Bailey and Richard Pryor. Then they go to lunch, and JJ does the first of what is 2 or 3 like narrative recaps, like we're going.
In case you missed it, what, you're the narrator? I thought you were a ghost.
Previously on this scene.
What are you doing? Jeez.
Oh God!
Odd appearance, Mr. Walker.
We are just in a bullet point mess right now. It's just
they're like, hey, we got 40 minutes to fill. Screw it. Line up. There's nothing makes sense. The dumbest. These are all the worst storylines of a good episode, and they put them all together, and they're like, they don't care. It's just they're in a room. They might get out. They might not. Wayne and Linda. Who cares? Like, it's just nobody cares. My biggest concern this whole thing was like, do they have the ghost drinking? And does that mean he can walk through walls or not? And that's it. That was one of my takeaways.
The ghost should have saved Les and Gail. He could have walked through the wall there.
Oh, also, did ghosts change their clothes? That was the
How
other
would
thing
she
I
be
had.
back? That's a good point. Shouldn't I thought ghosts
You
should
were
he be
stuck in the
in
clothes you died in.
he should,
It smells like coleslaw and lighter fluid. Poor late Mickey Garner, just with a very specific bad scent. It's a little dairy. It's a little lighter fluid. R.I.P.
Doc knocks on Jennifer's cabin door. She says, "Come on in," but she's in various stages of undress.
Oh boy.
And the moves are made immediately. She is hot to trot for Doc. And just at the moment where she kind of starts going to his face, Gopher walks in and
Thank God.
This is some of the best Bricker that we never get that often, but when we do,
Absolutely.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gopher throws
ethical Bricker?
Gopher throws Jennifer into the bathroom, like, get out of here. And he's going to give him a knuckle sandwich so much. And Doc twice, very understated, very solemnly, it's like, I guess there's no chance in explaining. And he says it twice and he walks off. And it is just, it's the gravitas that Steubing doesn't have. And it really does.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't save anything, but it's like,
no, but he's got that aura of like, yeah.
If I care about anything on this show, like from week to week at this point, it's the 4 crew members.
Yeah.
And their interactions. And so that was actually like, he was hurt. He knew what was going to happen. He tried to stop it. And he knows he
did.
Nothing
happened.
Right.
It's not like she planted one on him and he walked. No, exactly. Nothing happened.
No.
So, yeah, I agree, because it's almost like Doc's got that code in a way.
Sure, absolutely.
Like a leader would have, like Steubing should have.
Yes. Yeah.
But he doesn't have that.
And a tone that is not condescending or pompous or I'm better than you. And in a way, he's almost like, we will figure this out. There's no sense in explaining it now. I'm not going to try. You think Steubing would have done that? He would have been like, oh, no.
Well, let me ask you, at this point of the series, regardless of the fact, like, if these are in order or however this weird magical episode happened, in your opinion, who's the better actor out of those two?
Barney Capel.
Right? I thought so too.
Because honestly, we hated it. But he was even good. I mean, he got us to hate him, right? In that episode with the nurse.
Which we didn't want to, but it was
we
bad.
had to. But it's like, I mean, they don't even break out the Dean Martin stuff that much, but that's obviously in there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's close. I do think Gavin MacLeod is a good actor.
Sure.
But they're not.
Is he just handcuffed?
They're not giving him the stuff he's good at.
No.
Like we talked about it on the Halloween episode, right? That little bit with Vincent Price where he's exasperated and he slams the door and walks out.
Yeah.
Like he's great at that stuff.
Yeah, he is.
He's not great at this like buffoonery / pompous cosplay captain stuff.
Yeah, the sort of cocky Commandant Lassard thing just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a weird combination of things. Yeah, it's weird. It's more than just the actor itself. I agree. They're not. Yeah. I don't know why it's lacking for the captain. At week by week by week, he's got highs, he's got lows, but really there have been more lows than highs. It just doesn't. Whereas Doc, I've grown to enjoy him a lot as a character.
And really, I would say the 3 male crew members that aren't Steubing at this point, pretty consistent, right?
Yeah,
We'll have one-offs, but they'll make sense at least.
We know what to expect out of Isaac and Doc, and even now with Doc, Doc has ethics, which is nice,
right? And Gopher, obviously, and then Julie, I still maintain a lot of that is because she's the only female, but like they're a little more consistent with her or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not
to a point.
making her sound like a lunatic anymore, like she was for a while.
I mean, honestly, my main problem with the Julie stuff is she's not in it as much.
No, she's not. Well, remember, what do we say? She's the conscious of the ship, but now she's not around enough to be that role.
I almost feel like they're trying to make Steubing that at some level, and it's a poor choice.
No, I agree.
Let's see. So back in the renovated cabin, we are buttoning up a dress shirt, and so you know what that means.
You know what happened.
Only one thing that could mean.
Well, he's buttoning it up just to unbutton it in 2 more seconds. Did you see that?
A classic post-coital move. Comrade Bane goes over to the door that he assumes is locked, tries to open it, finds out that in fact he can, and then closes it back up. Because
dehydration. Like they had the energy, they had the fuel in their body and enough water to make love, right? Stop it. The baller move, he would have just laughed right there. He was just going, bye.
Here's your peanuts.
You know? Well, essentially, aren't they stowaways at this point?
Well, but here's the thing, right? So I guess the theory is the reason they were able to really get back together is because they had no choice to leave, but they obviously both had a choice to leave, which I guess is in a way the point. But guess what? You could probably go sneak into the buffet or something like that, right? And get some food and come back.
Right.
Hey, like, no. Guess what? You're not gonna leave at this point.
Imagine she left and ate a bunch of food while he was asleep and came back.
I almost assume they both did that. They had to.
Something. You're not going to live off 3 peanuts every meal. It's so stupid.
Or else that room should be radar disgusting.
Better get that freezer ready.
Act 4, thank God. Sunset.
Thank God.
On the deck, and Greg and Ellen are smooching.
There we go.
And Ghost JJ is watching up from a higher deck, and he seems a little sad.
He is sad. A
little ghost sad.
Mm-hmm. But supposedly that's what he wanted.
Yeah. Careful what you wish for, Wayne. Not Wayne.
He's just trying to warn Greg. She will kill you, Greg. Do not avoid all cookout related salads.
Wayne and Linda got all dressed up to go to the Acapulco Lounge and just be miserable like they always are. So
just same nonsense with Wayne, different scenery. He's just a bore.
Finally, they decide that divorce is the best option that does not involve a hyphen.
Okay.
Wayne, we're actually having a pleasure cruise without any pleasure. Yeah, us too, Wayne.
Yeah.
Us too, brother.
Feelings mutual. Ugh. Good.
Greg and Ellen are now...
Well, who sold this to Peter Caulfield? Who was like, I got a great idea. Here's the role. Would you like, I
mean, it's probably cool to work with Janet Leigh and her daughter at the time.
Was he doing something else? I don't know who this person is.
He's in some stuff, but nothing that I really recognized. So he died pretty young, actually. So
he had a lot of hair. I'll tell you that.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Greg and Ellen are dancing again, and they are cutting a rug very close to the band.
Yeah, they are
like on top of the band.
They can't hear themselves think. Nope. It's Greg Elkins Esquire. Does not care about personal space when it comes to musicians.
This is where JJ does all his prop comedy, ghosting around this couple.
Ghosting
yeah. It's just here's the funny thing, right? So ultimately, the special effects from the Halloween episode are what they do here, right? It's just a lot of or something.
Yeah.
But you should have done something here.
Something.
Not just Jimmy Walker picking up a glass.
Or just show the glass like floating.
Right.
Or something. Give me something.
Like a guy literally walks behind Jimmy Walker and doesn't like observe a floating glass. Right.
Or do a mirror type thing. Or there's so many different things you could have done here.
Yeah. All right. Jennifer shows up at Doc's cabin.
Again.
He's like, why aren't you at your birthday party? And she's like, Wanted to celebrate with you.
Oh, here we go.
Meanwhile, the crew is sitting at a small table in the dining room around a giant birthday cake, waiting 45 minutes for one person who is related to one of them.
Stubing would wait days for a piece of cake. And did you hear that they said that this the chef made the birthday cake?
Yep.
So now I'm wondering what I wish they would bring that. I wish they would bring him out one more time.
It had to be our guy.
Had to be him.
Romeo,
he always made cakes, like
Oh, what if it said "Happy Birthday, Michelle Lee's character"?
Just completely. That's funny. This is
asinine though. Like Stubing, who had no problem telling Gopher to go up on a roof during a hurricane, is not going to be like, "Hey, call your sister."
I'll tell you what.
Cake.
If there was a cake on that roof, Stubing would have been the first one up there on that island to get that thing off. He loves sugar.
Back at Doc's, Jennifer's asking why he's not interested, and basically he sums it up pretty easily. You're 18 and you're Gopher's sister. So case closed. So
did you see Doc's tennis trophy in his room?
I did not.
He had a big old tennis trophy. Like he was reading and he was in his PJs and he had this big old tennis trophy there. And I was like,
look at that.
Giant, like a giant tennis. Like he won Wimbledon tennis trophy.
Do you think that is a trophy he won on land or a boat championship?
Some lady left it behind. He
it's
what's her
name?
Something.
It's the lady in the wheelchair.
That's it. Now we know what happened to her back. No wonder they couldn't talk about it.
No wonder he tried to break Bixby's leg.
That's right.
Long story short here, she wants Doc to basically show him the ways of love. And Doc's like, that's gross. No. So
she says the phrase, I want someone experienced to show me. And I'm just like, oh, come on. And that's before I knew she was 16.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Adam Bricker does not strike me as the kind of person who wants to be remembered. So I'm guessing he's not willingly taking your virginity.
No. He's like, breathe this rag. Yeah. He's not. That's not. Number one, he likes him large, right? We know that. He has a type.
He would have loved Chubbs.
He would have loved Chubbs. Look, Chubbs, I'm going to need you to start. I need that 5 foot all around thing to happen again. Oh, he's like false advertising.
Oh, God. All right, let's go. Let's
get out of here.
When Greg steps away to go get, I think Ellen left her jacket somewhere. Mm-hmm. JJ pops up to confront Ellen with his jealousy. Why else would you be falling for some jive time, dude? So
dumb.
It's kind of crap, but he basically guilts Ellen into ending things with Greg. Pretty abruptly. Once again, everything Ellen has done on this cruise to Greg is very abrupt.
What's it within a 72-hour window?
Yeah.
Like Greg doesn't need it because as we learned 20 times over, he's a lawyer. He doesn't need this. It's Greg Elkins Esquire. Get the hell out of here, Ellen.
Greg is pretty smooth though, because he's like, well, I thought we had something special. Guess I thought wrong.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Nothing.
There's somebody else.
Ain't nothing going to break my stride, Greg Elkins. Look at this guy. He's just as cool as can be.
JJ immediately feels like maybe he made a mistake, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll see what happens.
Back at Cake Watch, Jennifer finally shows up. Everyone's so happy, but she shows up with Doc, so Gopher's not happy. Luckily, Jennifer explains that it was her, not Doc. Doc was a perfect gentleman. Everybody's happy. They all sing happy birthday. No one else in the entire dining room joins in. It's just these 6 people. So.
Yeah, I definitely think Stubing would have started eating the cake by now. Like he would have been like.
He said 5 minutes. He had to get back to the
5 minutes.
bridge.
I'm eating that cake. I'm taking a piece of cake with me back to the bridge in 5 minutes. And by bridge, he means his room.
Taking a piece of cake, which is I cut out the slightest sliver and leave it behind.
2 hands. He's holding this. Gopher, have milk delivered to my office.
He's got the steering wheel, but there's a little cake on each knob. So it's like when it goes by, it's just.
Well, it's perfect cake for him because it's white. So if he slobs it up, no one will know.
Well, not just that, but his favorite flavor of ice cream is vanilla.
Yeah. He loves an ice cream sundae.
Les and Gail are talking about what's next now. And Gail reveals that she knew the door's been unlocked for 3 days.
So dumb.
So what you both of you should have gone to the dining room and brought back all the food. You had a free cruise. Nobody checks anything.
Nobody checks anything. You guys are willing to risk death. Or how about you bring back a glass of water? Or a glass. Or something. Anything. Just some liquid.
I don't know how much stuff works in that cabin.
And they're not all sore from sleeping on floors. They give them that like fake 5 o'clock shadow thing. Like,
I couldn't sleep on a floor, and I'm a lot younger than Phil Drummond was.
No, I'm not. No. I mean, I would when I'm like suffering from 72 hours of dehydration. Sure. That's not really sleeping. That's more of a passing
I'm
out
dying from a peanut allergy.
Yeah.
From an undiagnosed peanut allergy.
Now that's something right there. Where's my EpiPen, Gail?
Oh, it's on the other side of the door. No.
Yeah. Door's been unlocked for days.
JJ has ghost guilt.
Yeah, he does.
About his jealousy. And he tries to convince Ellen to go back and fix things with Greg. She tells Mickey, I love him more than anybody in this world. You know what that means. For the 4th and final time, here come the Coreys.
There we go.
Eat your heart out, woman. He's still mine. Come on, you old lech.
They're the best. What an encore for Mr. and Mrs. Corey to go out on.
Turn. Absolute star turn.
I hope they come back.
They do not, sadly.
Boo.
Yeah. JJ says that it's never too late and he will fix it because he is a super ghost.
Yeah,
he came up with a crack plan, which is throw his ex-wife down the steps.
Yeah, shove her. Yeah, and if she gets hurt, well, then that's just something I call revenge. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, this is a Walter Perry situation. Here we go. So, yeah, they are walking down the steps. Well, Greg is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Julie wishes him goodbye because Lauren Hughes was the only crew member on set during this storyline.
No kidding.
And he's like, thank you very much, Julie. And then Ellen's coming down. And Jimmy Walker's just like,
just shove her like she's
check to the back. They run into each other. She apologizes. Greg's immediately like, fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Greg does not care about much.
No, he's like, on to the next one. But this one's fine too. So they're gonna live happily ever after. And then we get the definitive Jimmy Walker sad sack.
Oh yeah.
Because they walk away, kind of out of camera shot, and then he's just like, he must be the real one because she can't hear me anymore. And then he disappears with no sound. No sound. That
means he's gone.
He's gone. Through the pearly gates.
In other words,
coleslaw heaven.
Ellen Garner got away with murder.
Yep. Twice.
Wow.
She killed him again.
They killed him again. And that's what you get for making, for talking. Loose lips sink ships there. The late, great Mickey Garner. Poor guy.
Not the best Mickey.
No. Mickey O'Day was the
fantastic ghost.
He would have been a great ghost. He would have been the most fun because he pretty much died in that episode and they brought him back to life.
True. And not
I've been a ghost 20 times.
Not by coleslaw, by sex and cocaine.
Sex and cocaine. Completely different death.
Wayne and Linda are leaving. This is where Isaac says, I hope you had a nice cruise or something like that, just so they had somebody.
Yeah.
And who emerges from who knows where, but Les and Gail, and they're like, "What the hell are you two
What are you
doing
doing
here?"
here?
No time to explain. But
Nothing.
the important thing is they're getting back together because they've solved all their problems locked in a room for 3 days.
Sure. And yet they still like, it's so funny. So they come to this conclusion, but at the same time, they both withheld some pretty important information from one another. The fact that the door can open and they can leave.
Yeah.
And it Mike, if you can't build a relationship on trust, what can you build it on at this point? Like what?
Well, it's not just that. If you ever saw Speed 2,
ooh, yeah.
that's not Keanu Reeves, that's Jason Patrick. And I believe there's a line they explain it. Basically, it was like, you can't build a relationship on that kind of adrenaline.
You can't. It's not fair to anyone involved.
No. So this is a real Speed 2, and that was on a boat. So it all fits.
Well, that's why Keanu couldn't be in. It was too much. You know what I mean? It was too much. I lived the role.
Speed 2 ripped off. This is locked away.
Totally ripped this episode off. Sure.
All right. In an episode with a ghost and people being locked in a renovated cabin.
Yes.
And a million other things. This is the most illogical part. Linda and Wayne announce they are getting divorced. Conrad Bain is like, "No, you can't get divorced. We just fixed everything because we were locked in a room for 3 days." And they're like, "You're right. Never mind." Now, we have seen 5 scenes of these two clowns locked. They're not locked. That's the only difference. They're not locked in, right? But they are on a boat for 3 days. They are talking a lot. It is terrible.
Yeah, they can't stand each other's presence.
No. So somehow that fixed them. I think Linda's a little too involved with her parents.
A little bit.
I think Wayne also is a tryhard. And it's not going to end well. So, but they walk off like it's the yellow brick road, and that's the end of it. So
they really do like, well, everything's wrapped up here. Like, no, it's not. We had a whole new world there. You're ending, you're beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we finish up here with an unnecessary scene of Jennifer celebrating, kind of thanking everybody for her birthday celebration and all this nonsense. And I don't know. There's no real point to this last scene.
No.
Doc's like, sorry, still not dating that 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Who might be 16.
Right.
So Jennifer gets a zinger in when Danny Terrio tries to hit on her. He's like, "I don't go to the zoo."
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. That is a pretty
That's a whole
bad
lot of
end to a bad episode. So
I never looked up the IMDb rating for this episode.
7,
I've kind of given
7.
up on
the
that.
whole season is 7. We can't look
That's
at
why
this.
They don't even. It doesn't even mean anything. I mean, the highs and the lows mean more, but the average one doesn't really.
Yeah. No, it's.
I don't trust their evaluation.
Totals in a recap. I would like to open with our second correction from the corrections department.
Really?
We have been referring to episode 2 of this season as the best, the King of the Mountain, the leader in the clubhouse for the Stubby.
Right.
Come to my attention that on episode 3 of this season, we referenced that episode being the best of the season. And then whoever's in charge of this segment, me,
dropped the ball. Yeah.
Apparently did not record correctly. So what episode is 3. The better episode? Episode 2, which is Jimmy Bayo, James Coco, and Norman Fell. Okay. Or is it episode 3, which is the cruise ship Casanova?
Oh, it's got to be number 3. It's number 3.
And that's what we said.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah.
So we will correct that moving forward. Episode 3 is the current leader for best episode. Apologies to everyone who let us know about that. It's embarrassing. But
it is embarrassing. That's all right.
We'll do better.
Well, plus you have the weird numbering too when you get those 2-parters. So I think that's part of the confusion there too.
More importantly, is this the worst episode of season 1 too? So we currently have the Red Buttons episode in there, but I will argue that Richard Mulligan was really good in there.
I agree.
They had a fight and stuff.
I would say that this is significantly worse than the red buttons. Is this the
I
worst?
think this is the worst episode. I think this is the worst episode we've had since the Annette Funicello episode.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they just punted this episode to this season. It was really nothing happened.
This is where I would like to posit my cast switch.
Mm.
Would you have switched Ellen and Greg into the Annette Funicello and that guy role? So Annette Funicello and the other guy, they get ghosts. Meanwhile, Greg and Ellen get to actually...
Who's Annette Funicello's ghost? Who's the ghost that... Same circumstances?
Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker, same...
Yeah.
So Annette Funicello killed Jimmy Walker. Same thing.
Yeah, 100% same thing. Just switching those two out would be so much better.
Well, we agree that they wasted Annette Funicello in that episode.
Yeah. So
yeah,
she's basically playing Ellen Garner in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I think she would do a better job than, no offense to, Will Smith's mom and the Fresh Prince. And again, nothing was wrong with the, Greg, but yeah, no, I could see that. I think that would make it, I think it actually would have made it a bit better.
This was better than 23 because, at least there was something going on. But this is the most, I don't care, let's get going.
It's close, man.
Episode. It's pretty
23. Yeah.
Bad. Captain of the week.
Well, Virtue wins this week for me. Therefore, I'm going to go with Doc.
All right.
If Virtue didn't win, this would be this might have been the last episode of Love Boat 1978. The statutory rape episode. Good Lord.
I will go with the Greg and Ellen combination.
Okay.
I really did enjoy them. I did not the JJ part, but the actual Greg and Ellen as a couple. And the acting that came with it. I thought those two were really good.
I agree.
Walk the plank. Plenty of choices here.
I'm going to make it real simple. Wayne.
Yeah.
He was just terrible. He didn't bring much to the table. His character was weak. He was I didn't need Wayne at all.
No.
And it could have been just her. Jamie Lee Curtis could have been in a room by herself.
Yeah.
We didn't need Wayne.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's there's parts of the rest of that crew that I can at least stomach. Wayne had nothing.
No, Wayne stinks.
No, Wayne down the drain. That is totals and a recap for this week.
All right. Let's check the old mailbag, Mike.
Oh, exciting.
Let's see.
Can the streak continue?
Got any mail? The streak is over, Mike.
Oh, well, three's
no mail this week.
We proved a point.
Yeah, we proved the point. We know the email.
I'd like you guys to write in. What was our question earlier? There was some question about
Canadian Walk of Fame.
Well, there was that question, and then we need to know, how did Jimmy Walker die? Was it coleslaw poisoning or was it combustible coleslaw?
I'd say combustible, just for alliteration purposes, combustible coleslaw really rolls off the tongue. Just going to say.
I think I know where that's going to go.
Well, yeah. As I pull out my Sharpie. All right.
A lot of food titles on this show.
Yeah, a lot of. I would love to know Tiny Poultry. We could go on. Plugs, Mike. Anything to plug?
Yeah, Absolutely Hammered. On the Hidden Season Patreon every Wednesday, we have a free episode that's out. Came out the end of last week, so you can still hear it. And otherwise, go on Patreon and listen to us talk about the baseball team that is currently plummeting.
That's a rough one right now.
Yep. It's better than this episode, though.
Ooh, yeah. Plugs. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook. You can also find us everywhere you get your audio podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and all of our audio and video podcast episodes are currently, right now, are up on the Love Boat Project YouTube page. And if you could hit that subscribe button, we would really, really appreciate it.
Smash
Smash it.
Smash it.
Hit a like, give us a review, and subscribe.
It's a very if you have if you have to walk across the country, it'll fill your time. It's plenty of hours of listening.
Tons of hours of listening. If you plan on hands across America or feet across America, I guess.
Forrest Gump. If you just want to start
Forrest
running.
Gump. Yeah. Then when you get to I'm done running, then you might be done. You might be caught up with episode 33. There you go. On the next episode, Mike, we're going to meet another Mission Impossible star, Mr. Peter Graves. And we welcome back the great Mr. Larry Storch is back.
Oh, no.
I hope he's playing the same role. Oh, I love Larry Storch.
Sweaty, just sweating.
Sweaty criminal. Fantastic.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. What a triumphant return. We have not had any 2-episode people yet for this season. So that category is wide open if anybody shows up twice. So good luck. Could be you. Could be you, Larry Storch.
Could be you taking home a trophy, Larry Storch.
All right. Well, next week we will be back with a guest and the minister and the stripper.
Can't wait.
Hopefully everybody is age appropriate. But otherwise, thanks, Mike. We will talk to all of you next week.
Thanks.